One reason the left despises Supreme Court Justice nominee Amy Coney Barrett is because the abortion narrative claims that women cannot succeed without abortion. Amy Coney Barrett destroys that phony narrative. She is a career woman. She is happily married. She's the mom of 7. She was a college law professor. She served 3 years as a federal judge. And now, she is the first mom of school-aged kids to be nominated to the Supreme Court of the United States of America. And to boot, Amy Coney Barrett is passionately pro-life. No abortion necessary for her success. Contrast that, by the way, with Hollywood actress Michelle Williams, who claimed abortion is necessary for a woman's material success, claiming she would not have won a Golden Globe without her abortion.
And I wouldn't have been able to do this without employing a woman's right to choose. To choose when to have my children and with whom.
Right there, in a nutshell, you have the difference between liberal philosophy and conservative philosophy. And you can see for yourself that the liberal narrative that women need abortion to succeed is a dangerous lie. Because it's hard to reconcile that radical leftist narrative with a woman like Amy Coney Barrett. But that did not stop radical leftists from attacking Amy Coney Barrett this weekend. Actually, let's be a little more specific. That did not stop radical leftists from attacking Amy Coney Barrett and her adopted children this weekend. This is Amy Coney Barrett's family. She and her husband have 7 children, 5 biological children, the youngest with Down syndrome, and 2 children adopted from Haiti. This is Amy Coney Barrett's family walking to their van on Saturday to drive to the airport to fly to Washington, D.C. to accept President Trump's nomination for Supreme Court Justice. And this is where it starts to get nasty. How did the mainstream media headline this family walk to the car? Well, per NBC, Judge Amy Coney Barrett and her large family left their Indiana home this afternoon, etc., etc. Just a reminder, the late Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia had 9 children. Did the mainstream media headline his public appearances by noting the large size of his family? Of course not. Leftists cannot stand a successful conservative woman who has a family and a career. New York Times Magazine and Vanity Fair writer Vanessa Grigoriadis admitted this. She tweeted a horrible, sexist attack on Amy Coney Barrett as a mother because Barrett is a working mother. This is what she said, and I quote, "I guess one of the things I don't understand about Amy Coney Barrett is how a potential Supreme Court justice can also be a loving, present mom to 7 kids. Is this like the Kardashians stuffing nannies in the closet and pretending they've drawn their own baths for their kids?" She continued, "And if there aren't enough hours in the day for her to work and mother those kids, when she portrays herself as a home-centered Catholic who puts family over career, isn't she telling a lie?" End quote. It's funny to hear leftist feminists telling a woman, essentially, that her place is in the home. But then, after conservatives condemned Grigoriadis for her sexist attack, she admitted she was attacking Amy Coney Barrett because Barrett is pro-life. This is what she tweeted. "Anyway, more power to Amy Coney Barrett and her ability to raise 7 kids. My only problem with her is that I believe she'll make abortion illegal, destroy any chance for national child care, and gut health care. But besides that, she is an inspiration and a girl boss." End quote. And that right there is the most important tweet of all, because she admits why leftists are attacking Coney Barrett. It's all about abortion. If you think that's bad, just wait, the attacks get worse. As if attacking Amy Coney Barrett as a mother because she is a working mother, but really because she's pro-life, isn't bad enough, leftists then attack her for adopting 2 children from Haiti. Political operative Dana Houle tweeted, and I quote, "I would love to know which adoption agency Amy Coney Barrett and her husband used to adopt the 2 children they brought here from Haiti." He tweeted, "Here's a question. Does the press even investigate details of Barrett's adoptions from Haiti? Some adoptions from Haiti were legit, many were sketchy as hell. And if the press learned they were unethical and maybe illegal adoptions, would they report it? Or not because it involves her children?" End quote. Basically, since Democrats can't accuse a male Supreme Court justice nominee of being a rapist, they accuse a Christian woman of stealing the children she adopted, that is evil. Don't let these Democrats anywhere near power. Then, Ibram Kendi, who, by the way, profits off lecturing white people about critical race theory, tweeted, and I quote, "Some white colonizers adopted black children. They civilized these savage children in the superior ways of white people while using them as props in their lifelong pictures of denial, while cutting the biological parents of these children out of the picture of humanity." Then, John Lee Brewer, you've probably never heard of him, but he is a political operative who previously worked for NARAL and Wendy Davis, tweeted, and I quote, "As an adoptee, I need to know more about the circumstances of how Amy Coney Barrett came to adopt her children and the treatment of them since. Transracial adoption is fraught with trauma and potential for harm, and everything I see here is deeply concerning," end quote. So let me get this straight. First, Democrats claim that pro-lifers don't care about babies outside the womb. Then, when a pro-lifer adopts two babies who need a loving family, Democrats suddenly move the goalposts and claim how traumatizing, how awful of pro-lifers to adopt and love babies if the babies have a different skin color from the parents. So let's be very clear here. Democrats and abortion-loving leftists are hypocrites, and they're also factually wrong. Here are the facts about transracial adoption from The Transracial Adoption Paradox, authored by Richard Lee, published at the U.S. National Library of Medicine, the National Institutes of Health. Lee writes, and I quote, "Across a wide range of studies on domestic and international adoption, the research demonstrates that transracial adoption itself does not necessarily place a child at higher risk for emotional and behavioral problems. Specifically, approximately 70% to 80% of transracial adoptees had few serious behavioral and emotional problems, a rate that was comparable to same-race adopted and non-adopted children. Transracial adoptees also did not differ dramatically from same-race adoptees and non-adoptees in levels of self-esteem and social adjustment. In studies where transracial adoptees had more serious and long-term behavioral and emotional problems, researchers found the effect sizes to be small and also identified mitigating factors, such as birth country of origin, age at adoption, gender, with boys at greater risk, adverse pre-adoption experiences, and adoptive family functioning," end quote. In other words, not only are these attacks horrible and disgusting and racist, they're also scientifically wrong to claim that transracial adoption is bad for the kids per the science. By the way, speaking of transracial adoption, Hollywood actress Charlize Theron adopted a boy from Africa, decided when he was 3 years old that now he is a transgender girl, now is raising him as her quote-unquote daughter and promoting that abuse on social media. You can see that for yourself. And these same leftists excoriating Amy Coney Barrett and her adopted children, they are silent about Charlize Theron and the picture evidence that she's transitioning her now 7-year-old from a boy to a girl and started that when he was 3. This is who the Democrats are. They can't criticize Amy Coney Barrett's rulings on the merits. They won't admit the only reason they hate her is because she's pro-life, so they attack her for being a Christian, conservative, pro-life adoptive parent and mom of 7. But make no mistake, if you think it's okay to accuse Amy Coney Barrett of stealing her adopted children and inflicting trauma on them because they are black and she white, all because you're desperate to keep abortion legal, well, I don't know a more diplomatic way to say this. You're a bad person.